Scott Jaime, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Ultra Racer Champion. How was your trip in?
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure?
Yeah, it was. But you know what? I'm here, and it's beautiful, and so that's all behind me now.
Good, good. We have a couple questions that came off of Facebook. So I'm going to ask, the first one is for, I know, it's a little scary. It's been scary all morning.
It's all right.
So Karna Sung wants to know, don't try relative to this race, but I have to ask it because it's directly to you. How do you avoid high altitude sickness when you run these races at 8,000 to 14,000 feet? So she must follow you if they hard rock it.
Yeah, so that's a good question. And I live in Colorado, so it's an easier transition going from where I live at 6,200 feet up to, say, 10,000 feet, which is Silverton, Colorado.
Right.
And so the acclimation for me is pretty easy, but I do spend 3 weeks up in the Silverton area to get ready for hard rock.
Right.
And I think that's a huge advantage, believe it or not, especially later in the race.
Absolutely. Well, and then she asked a follow-up question. She said, so when you drop down, can you really see an advantage?
Absolutely. So there's about a... There's a 1 to 2 week time period where you can really roll, and you look around and you're like, what is this stuff in the air?
Right.
It's oxygen.
A little O2. That's O2. Right. That's actually interesting because Lindsay Nelson must know what you do for a living.
Oh,
she
really?
said, Scott, are you in pharmaceutical sales? Is your nickname the running drug dealer?
It could be. I am in pharmaceutical sales. And to be quite honest, I sold a drug called Mircera, which is EPO. But it never made it to the market, and so I never really sold it,
But now, wait. Okay, so a little bit of information on me, just so you know. So I came out of grad school and went to work for Baxter Healthcare.
Oh, you did?
I used to work for Cardinal and Baxter and so forth. So I happen to know that we get samples when we go visit these physicians.
Well, EPO samples are very controlled.
Very controlled, okay.
And so
it's not one of those class of drugs you can just leave around the house. And
so the good thing is I know about red blood cells, how they work and so forth, so I know how important it is to acclimate.
Right.
So anyway.
Right. Last question. What would you say is the thing you most enjoy about long running?
The thing that I like most about long running is to know what I'm capable of.
Sure.
I think everybody wants to know that, but I think you don't get to experience that until you've gone over 6 hours to know what you're really made of and what are you genetically capable of.
Right.
And so I think that's what keeps bringing me back, is to find out what I am capable of.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're capable of winning tomorrow. Good luck.
Well, I hope so.
Good
Thanks,
luck.
Gil.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Dave James. Welcome to the Ultra Racer Champions.
Thanks.
Good to have you here.
It's awesome to be here. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Coming back, second time. You were here last year. But you wind up doing the junior varsity event, not on purpose.
Yeah.
How'd that go? Tough day?
Last year I was trying to hide and fight some foot issues.
Right.
And
I remember.
it took me out. I didn't race again after UROC.
Right.
I didn't finish a race again until March.
Right.
So it was one of the lowest points of my career, just being injured with the plantar fasciitis and trying to fight through it. But I tried to hide it and come out here and give it a go, but it didn't work.
Yeah. And don't you love it when somebody starts an interview with something bad that happened last year? But no, we're thrilled to have you, and I know you've been running a lot. You just ran a few weeks ago. I know you ran a 100-mile. That's your MO. I mean, you like to run, you like to race, and But overall, you've had a good year. I mean, there's some really good results.
I needed to get a long run in for this, so I decided to go up to Colorado and run a little race up there and get my hard rock qualifier because my friends didn't think I can do it. But it's been a really good summer. I've been living off of the prize money. Got to go to Austria for a race, and I've basically won prize money in every race since March. So
right. Well, that's real interesting. So we have some questions that came in via Facebook from some of our fans. A couple of good questions. This is a good one. So Helen McDermott wants to know, Dave, since you usually like to go out fast and early, do you plan on taking off right after this interview?
I've actually changed. I do have a reputation of that, and I understand that. But
according to Helen, you're going to be leaving in a minute now.
I did run most of my races this summer. I've been much more conservative, but I know I have that reputation, and I joke about it too. I mean, I started as the young guy coming up in the sport, and it's going to be different now. There's a lot of guys that have never done 100K that are running this race that are much faster than I ever was. or will be, and so it's changing, and I understand like my role is changing. I got to be a little smarter, like the older guys.
Right. So, and kind of a follow up to what you just said a minute ago. Justin McCune said, what's your impression, kind of, on the prize money and how it's affecting the sport, and do you think it can get to a point where more people can make a living?
I hope so. I feel like we're kind of that transition, bridging the gap for what's going to happen in the future. And I think it's awesome that the runners are finally getting a little piece of the pie because the sponsors and the races are making so much money. Personally, I'm a medical student, so I'm living off of loans and debt. So I couldn't do these races if it wasn't for the little bit of money that I am able to put back into my travel and time training and stuff like that. So I'm really grateful that the sport is catching up.
Obviously, I agree completely with you. Yeah, I'm on that bandwagon. And then lastly, I have a question here again. Oh, it's from Karna, just saying, how you think it'll unfold tomorrow? Obviously, you want to win, but just knowing the players, what would you see? First 50K, who you think will be in those top 3 to 4, and then who you think will be the top 3 or 4 across the finish line?
I think it'll be a really interesting race. I think it'll be a little conservative actually this year. I think Sage and Max will run for that first King of the Hill money.
Right.
And for the females, obviously, without Liza here, Ellie is going to probably have a pretty easy race.
Right.
And then with like Mackie and Nick and Dave Riddle here, there's some guys with like a ton of foot speed. So I think we'll hang back, and then my pick, Ian Sharman also. I don't know. I joke because it'd be easier. Like, let's just pick Dave for the top 3.
Right.
For the podium.
Right, there you go. Well, good luck tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thanks.